Making another journal. I have made two of them that are almost identical to each other. I can't really tell how it's recording because the phone mount I have for now is acting weird. But anyways, they can hold field notes books, or maybe if you made your own custom book and filled up a little bit longer. At least these two. This one's going to be a little bit shorter. But you've got just a little bit of extra room on the top. And I've got a little pouch here for pencils or erasers or whatever you want to. And then it just slips into the side that way. Now, the only thing that I'm going to be changing with this one is I'm going to be putting a pouch on this side. That way you could just move your pencil into that pouch. So if you start writing, you're not, writing on top of a pencil here. You can write regular without a pencil, like with an extra pencil causing a crease. But I mean, this one's for me. This one's my personal. This one's a gift for somebody. So I don't mind the pencil being here. It's just what it is. Because I only really take one or two with me, and then I can write just fine. But some people have said that they would like a pouch on this side, so I'm going to make just a smaller pouch to go across here, and then you just hold your pencils there, and that way you could put whatever else you want to there, and then just have an extra strap. And since it's a little bit different, I decided I'm going to use a different outer case material for it. It's just a little bit thicker leather it's a different color. It has a little bit more textures into it, so I'm going to use that for the outside. And then since I've got a few more ideas for this, instead of making it one solid color like I had these other ones, I'm going to use the inside as this material. I'll pop up the names if I can remember to do that. All of this is bought from Buckle Guy, just because that's where I buy majority of my actual leather from. But this is going to be the inside pouch, so that holds the book in there like that. And then I'm going to take the pouch from here and just move it to the outside, so it'll lay flat against that. So this one won't have two pouches, just because you could have two pouches. I mean, I might make another one later on that has two pouches, but I like trying to find a flat surface on the dominant hand. So we'll go from that and see where we're going. So I may have to stop this. Oh, and then the pouch side, just because I'm using all of this leather that I bought. I bought some real olive green color, and so that's just going to be on that side, just a little pouch there. Just because I like the color and I want to use it, and I've only got a little bit of a test just because I was testing to see what the color, how it dragged and stuff was. So we're gonna try that as well. But I'm leaving it over here for now. So I gotta cut this piece to this height by about 3 inches, because about 3 inches is where I've made the other ones on that. So that's going to be the slide-in pouch, and then we'll have another smaller. It's probably going to be another 3 inches by however tall, just to hold that, because those run about 3 inches there. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to end it now, just because I don't want to use up all of my storage on one long video. So I'm going to end it, and then we'll restart it and start cutting. And then we'll set it all up and then glue it up after I burnish the edges. Something like that. And then we'll have stitching going here, that way, stitching going across there, and the book can slide in. Like so. And then this will just fold over, like so. And then you'll have a book. And then I'll put a little strap with a button on there to hold it all together. So I should probably do that first, at least to mark the hole. Yeah, let's do that. That's that side. That's that side. So if I just flip this over, that's my back, that's my front. Remember how far I went. This one's a little bit shorter, so I could probably just go about. So that's 7, and I went 3 and 4, so about that. Okay, got all my pieces. Now I'm gonna assemble it and burnish it and do all that. So that's what this is, the beveling section. that I've talked about on the channel before. It was that Dig Local event where a lady came and bought a lot of my things, or some of my bigger items that I've made. And so I'm having to rebuild some of my stash. Is that what word I was calling for it? Quantities of stuff. You know, whatever the word is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know why I can't remember. Oh, I'm gonna pop it up if I can remember it somewhere on the screen. But now we're gonna just take the edge beveler and some token oil, some burnishing gum, go around the edges of all of these, smooth them out, make them real nice and not super hard, and then we're gonna stick everything together. So, I need to figure out how much I need to wrap around. So if I go, how much is a half inch? Half inch might not be bad, because then I'll just have the thing going there. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Things. Usually I would skive. I haven't been recently just because my skive blade's not really broke, it's just chipped on 1/4. But since this is so thick, going on thick, and this will also be here, you could skive the edge of this to make this a little bit thinner to then plop on top of this. But you know, we're here now, so this is where we are. Because that entire thing is going to be glued. And I found these, I was watching some YouTubers when I was practicing and learning these things, and one that I found, I'll have to link, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but they were talking about different things that you could do to upgrade your setup, and one of them was getting these. I use a crap ton of glue whenever I do stuff, just because, you know, like I said before, I use all the glue. But these plastic, I think they are. I don't remember. I'll have to pop up a link or a picture of them so you can see them better. So the glue will dry, but it doesn't stick to the material, you know. So it's one of those that you can just, oh, excuse me, use as much glue, and then once the glue dries, you can peel it off and it's ready to use again, and it does really well. So, find my center line. And I meant to find the center line of this too. We're just gonna line up our centers. Probably a little close, but it'll be what it'll be. If it's a little bit off, it's fine. It doesn't have to be, oh, it's too high. That's pretty close. Now we will let that dry while I do other stuff. Because then I'm just going to run my thread up through that, because it'll be coming in. Yeah, we'll have plenty. The first one I made, I did an incision and then ran that through, but the way these field notes go across that, it didn't go all the way, so I've just been doing it like this for now. And it works out pretty well. So then, we'll go this way. I'll come through and I'll stitch it, and then we'll do the edges or do the actual punches. There we go, that's the word. And then do the stitches, and then I'll just lay it there. Found the place where I'm going to put these. These are my clasps. And I have this little hole punch that can do, I can't remember what this is set in, if it's centimeters, millimeters, or whatever. But I'd use the biggest one because that's what gives me the most amount with these clasps. So I just punched one side. I'm gonna punch the other side now so you guys can see what that looks like. So I went a 1/2 inch this way and a 1/2 inch that way. That's center and center of both directions. So see if I can get it as center as possible, like that. Just poke that through, and you have a hole. And so now, when that folds over, this will fold up and clasp right there and hold everything together. But this will probably be a little loud, so I'll probably cut this sound out. And hopefully the camera will stay stabilized as best it probably can. But I'm gonna punch these out now. I mainly use these two. Nope, not that one. That one. A 5, I believe. No, a 6. So these are 5 millimeters. So I'm pretty sure that's the depth that they go, 5 millimeters down. And I use a 5 punch and a 2 punch the most. This I really do to do corners. If these were rounded, this would be really good at doing rounded parts. This has also got a 1 and a 3. No, a 1 and a 4. They come up sometimes. I haven't really experimented with the 1. I used the 4 before I realized I had a 6. But they do basically the same thing. So I like going a little bit in. I probably could start all the way here on the edge of this. You could probably see I could go on the edge, but I like going a little bit deeper. Let's see, is that still on? Yeah, I might. Since the sun's changing colors, we will change colors to see if I can try to match it. Put my hat back on. And then all I'm gonna do is basically follow my lines and tap it ever so often to get this to go through that material. So this is the part that I'll probably cut the audio out, because it's just going to be, I'll show the beginning, because this is what it's going to sound like for a minute. That. So I'll probably cut that part out, and then you see it goes all the way through. So I'm going to do that on this panel and this side, and then we'll just probably time lapse this so it'll be a little quieter. So now since I've got the banging loud things here, I'm gonna put 2 of these in. I think I'm gonna use this matte, sort of like a matte finish. It's still got a little gloss to it, but if I compare it to the other one I was gonna use, that's like a super shiny material. This one's gonna cast the shine, but it's not, you know, it's a little bit duller. If you put them together, you can sort of see the difference. If I can hold it right, there we go. So I'm gonna use that light gray one. Now, I'm hoping the glue will stay here just so I can see it. So now, since this folds over, it'll clasp. So now you got a book. So now we just gotta stitch everything. Saddle stitch these because that's really the only stitching I know at the moment for all of this. So I went ahead and I cut my thread at an angle. I found that that helps me get it through the needles. So I will show you how this works. So you got the needle hole. You find it, you feed it through, and you pull it up a little bit, enough to wrap it around, and you take the needle and you're going to find basically the center of the thread, and you're going to poke it through. And then you're just going to pull it back on itself and pull that tight. Since this is pre-waxed thread, it gets real slippery in my hand, so I have to use some pliers to pull it tight. But that will hold it as you stitch through it. It may, if you find yourself accidentally like stitching through that, by the time you pull it through, it'll probably break, but you can always just restitch it. So we're gonna do the same thing on this other one. And the reason I cut it at an angle is I put the bottom half, so I cut it at like a 45, and the longer side I put to the bottom of the needle, and I basically just feed it that way. That way it has a shallower front. Since it's at an angle, it's got a shallow front up here, so you stick the bottom in and then it just pulls the rest of it in with it. It's just something that I've done. I mean, I haven't really noticed people doing it like that. That's sort of like a self-discovery. I didn't watch a YouTube video. I watched a YouTube video on how to saddle stitch, but I didn't watch a YouTube video of them like sticking it in the needle. So it's just something I've developed over time. So now we've got that. I'm gonna do the larger side first. So we're gonna come up here and throw it in here. And what you're gonna wanna do is you can sort of see, since those punches are angled, I'll see if I can't get it pretty close. The way I have this up here, the punch lines go like this. That way when you put the thread through, you can pull it down to save room to go that way. So put the punch holes when you're going to stitch it away from you. So it'll look like, your hands will look like that. So they're going away from your hands. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna set it up, and you always go left side first. So I poke the hole with the right side. This is a lot longer than it needs to be for this, but it'll work. So you poke your right side through. If I can, where'd the hole go? Why did it? No, I guess it just unglued it. There we go. And then just to open it up a little bit, you take this, you take your left, you feed it through, and then you can pull that down. That's why you keep it, keep the angle away from you. You pull that down and you feed your your right side needle back through the hole, avoiding the other side of the string, and then you just pull it tight. And then, at least for the first one, I like pulling it together. That way they stay even and you have an even spread on either side of the needles. That way one's not longer than the other one and you're just going through. And then you basically do that all the way through. It won't give this same shape like this first one did. I imagine I probably could make it like that with learning a different saddle stitch or a different way to stitch, but that's just the beginning and the end. I usually try to make them like that. Edges off, and you can either get something called a thread zapper, which I have one of those, but recently I've just been using a what you call it, a lighter. And all you do is you're going to take your edges. It's kind of hard to see those edges there, and then you're just going to take a little bit of light to, doesn't take a lot of light, and you just push it down. And it should look something sort of kind of like that. And then that's that edge done. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I didn't have enough. I had just a decent amount. So I'm gonna have to cut some more. I need a piece just a little bit longer to do the rest of that. So we're gonna do that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just slide it in here. This was the leather piece that you just seen me make in the video. Well, if I can get my words right. A lot of the actual stitching part didn't film how I wanted it to, so we're going over it now. The angle was just wrong, and I didn't realize it was until I had already finished stitching the entire thing and was going to edit it, so I couldn't really change that. So we're just going to go through with it now. So I sped through and stitched all of these. I stitched all of that with just a regular basic saddle stitch, and then did the same thing on this side. And that's how that went. So this is how it finally turned out. You know, I got my pencils in there, and you can slide your field notes into that, and it folds over pretty well. So if you guys like this kind of content, these leather making videos, I'm going to try to rework my little recording setup I have for the angle and all of this when I do the leather setup. So hopefully the next one will be a little bit easier to tell exactly what I'm doing, and you'll be able to actually see it a little bit more. So stay tuned for those, and I'll catch you guys in whatever I record next. So see you later.